Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac Booster Pack 5 Afterbirth Rebirth, Afterbirth Plus Booster Pack 5 with additional mod support if you desire. Version number 1.06.03451V17. Did I get all that right? I certainly hope so. We're gonna do a little Eden run here. I love it. I'm immediately vindicated in my decision. LYJE S6ZE. Great stats. Great spacebar item, and you know, like our passive item is not really very good at all, but it did give us a demon heart that I probably will be able to hold on to for like a single floor. Stats are awesome, especially DPS related stats, but speed is not bad either. Why Eden and not the Forgotten? What does it matter? It's basically where I'm at now. Is that, you know, we'll flip-flop back and forth a little bit. Eden runs, fun, chance to experience the full flavor of the new items. I guess we're basically ready to go. Forgotten runs, guaranteed baseline of Zane, but also a little bit of... Ooh, what the heck? He ricocheted. He ricocheted like 98 degrees has Nick Lachey in it. Wait, what is... Nick Lachey has a brother who's in 98 degrees, and he looks like the accountant for 98 degrees, but is actually like a rarely known boy band archetype, the old one. There's always like a leader, the pure one, the bad boy. You can apply this to pretty much every band. Every boy band, I should say. Like in Backstreet Boys. The leader, Nick Carter. The good one, the pure one, Brian. Short-haired Backstreet Boy. The bad boy. So you're probably looking at either AJ or Howie for that one. They might have even had two bad boys. It was a very revolutionary band. NSYNC? What do you got with NSYNC? Well, I'm glad you asked, to be honest with you. Justin Timberlake, the leader. Lance Bass, the good one. Bad boy, JC Chazé. Come on. I'm noticing there's a... Seems like blondes are always the leaders or pure. And then, if you have black hair, sorry, you're the bad one. In NSYNC, I don't remember, dude. There's Nick Lachey, who was the leader. Looks like the protagonist of an Uncharted game. And then, I can't name any other... I think Drew Lachey was his brother. And I guarantee if you... I mean, Drew Lachey sounds like the alter ego for like an... Or it sounds like the... real name of an X-Man alter ego, but is really just a dude who looks like he just finished his chartered professional accountant exam. Okay, we don't want Ankh. It's not good enough. Bomb Bag, not cool enough. Big Fan, not cool enough. Maggie's Bow. Okay, I gotta be honest, the lights are getting turned on in like 15 minutes. We're running out of options. I'll take Maggie's Bow. Trying to think of, does it apply to the Beatles? The leader? Ooh, that's a tough one. It's an age-old question. Are you a Paul or a John? I gotta be honest. I used to be a John. I don't know if I should say that. I used to be a fan of Jonathan Lennon. And then I heard Give Peace a Chance in its entirety one too many times on the radio. And it ends with like 14 minutes of all we are saying is give peace a chance. And like, yeah, could you have just like... I'm not mad at John Lennon and Yoko Ono so much. I'm more mad at the radio station. Like, could you have just trimmed it a little bit? We know how it's going. I give peace a chance on a regular basis. I would say it's worked out okay for me. Our second secret room must be in here, so I'm willing to give it a shot. But, you know, can you just get to playing some ads that have sirens or car horns in them? I'm not sufficiently freaked out enough right now. If you could just help me out with that, that'd be real nice. Sprite Shot College since 1903. Now, I don't really want those pills. Now I'm more of a Paul McCartney fan. I gotta say, you know, like I hew towards, I mean, I guess a little less of the experimental, more of the well-rounded pop sensibilities. You gotta, you know, I guess like Galaxy Brain, George Harrison, of course, you know, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Got My Mind Set on You. I know that one of those is the Beatles, one of those is solo career. I'm just saying he's got a lot going on there. Ringo is definitely the pure one. George might be the bad boy. He was always, you know, experimenting with that psychedelic sitar sound. Turn off the old lights, relax and float downstream. I think we're good to go with just this. Let me coffee up here. It's still pretty early in the morning. 11:04 a.m. Not early, but I like getting a start. So I don't know if I've mentioned it 100 times or whatever, but you know, for this semester, I have, or by the time this video comes out, I have had a class, and previously I've been saying I've been taking night classes, but, you know, this one is a Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. I gotta be honest, you know, first off, it kind of stinks. I don't keep a horrible schedule. I usually wake up around 9:30 or 10 in the morning, which is pretty, like, respectable for a YouTube or Twitch streamer, to be honest with you. I do see some streamers, like, I'm trying to think of a good example. I think Lyric streams early. Streams at like 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'm very, envious isn't the right word, because I guess if I really wanted it that bad, I could just do it myself as well. But, I like that idea that, you know, I put my streams right around like the halfway point of my day for the most part, you know, early to mid-afternoon. And I like that because it means that I get a little bit of time to warm up and a little bit of time to cool down afterwards or get some more work done is more likely to be the scenario at the end. But I don't know, having this like 9 a.m. Saturday class, although I hate waking up for it, let's be honest, you know, it's in the end, maybe I get 4 or 5, hopefully 6 hours of sleep. That's one day a week getting 5 hours of sleep on average is not that bad. And then I leave, like I have 3 hours of productivity, I learn a lot, I participate. Noon on a Saturday, I'm all warmed up, you know, already had a couple of coffees, I'm good to go, you know, it's a long day, no doubt about it, but I like getting an early start on occasion. I don't know, there's like a subtle psychological, maybe it's not even subtle, but, you know, when you're a streamer, and I've lived a facsimile, sorry, my mistake, for a while of this, but like, if you wake up after noon, even if you spend the same amount of time awake as an average, like working a normal job adult, and this is not to denigrate streaming, which is in its own way a normal job, albeit a very unique one. I just feel like you're less productive. Something about, and maybe I'm a secret morning person, I've just never realized it all these years. Something about being up when the sun's getting up, it's like you and the sun are having a nice little race with one another. And you look up and you say, hey, Mr. Sun, thanks for providing me with some illumination today. By the way, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna wake up earlier. I'm gonna go to sleep later. Just for today, though. For the rest of the days, let's not be ridiculous. Health down. What are we gonna do? Well, I think, I do see the secret room, and there's some temptation there for sure. But for now, I'm gonna use my bombs instead to perhaps reroll whatever's going on in here, because this is not particularly good. And we're getting closer to Bookworm, but it's not that exciting. You know what we can do? How confident are you that this is worth it? I'm extremely confident. Okay, so we lost Host Hat, which would have been the best probably, but we got Seraphim, which is definitely not bad. Let's just use this in actuality, and thank you for the key, and now I'm gonna destroy you, and thank you so much. Now, all that being said, this class ends in like 10 days. It's a 6-week course, and then I have a course that starts at 6 p.m. and I'm oh so excited to have my to have my full Saturdays back, even if that entails going to bed an hour later than I go to bed right now and waking up like 3 hours later. Either way, it's been a fun experiment, and I'm trying to make the best of it, but I'm ready as well. Okay. I also, you know, I talk about school, but I talk about it because I like it, and I talk about it because it's relatable, you know? It's kind of a universal thing. We've all been in class. Maybe we're not in class right now. It's why school is such a good metaphor, you know? It draws on a universally or near universally shared experience. Well, it's like this time I was at the Hillside Music Festival in Guelph, Ontario. You know, it's not it's a little bit more insulated, unfortunately. But hey, it's like it's a 9 a.m. class on a Saturday, so you know you don't always have the most alert classmates, myself included. I would count myself in that for sure. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm in this situation where like I'll present the case without giving you my own personal bias, and then you can figure out for yourself where I stand. So I have a professor. The professor asks a lot of clarification questions as he's going through a lecture. So you know, just to give you like a hypothetical example, he'll write like a JavaScript expression on the whiteboard and be like, "What do you expect that this returns?" And I'm looking at it and I'm going, everybody here knows it's going to return not a number, probably like at least 75% of the class is like, that's going to return NaN. But nobody's saying it. Everybody's quiet, and the professor's like, nobody? So I'm like, I sit up at the front because my eyes are bad, and I'm a nerd. And I've waited like 30 seconds, and I realize we're at a blockade, and if nobody says anything, we're not going to go anywhere. So I say, not a number? And he goes, yeah, that's right, or yeah, that's wrong, not a number. But I think, like, I've done it too much. And now I really feel like I'm forced to do it sometimes. And I don't know where I stand. And don't take this as being bragging. Really, I would much prefer if there was an equal distribution and a lot of people are answering questions, because sometimes I just want to keep my mouth shut, you know? I spend all day talking, every day, more or less. Wouldn't mind being able to be a little bit more quiet about things. But I also don't want to be kept 15 minutes after the lecture ends because we didn't get through all the material. And yeah, that's how it works in like adult classes, because it's not like your parents are forcing you to be there. You're like, I want to learn all this. So I mean, you can leave whenever you want, but you know, I mean, you paid for it. So now it's like I find myself, and I'm not joking, actually answering like probably 75% of the questions that get asked in the class, and I don't put my hand up immediately and go, oh, me. You know, I wait 45 seconds, and I'm just hoping somebody else is gonna take the mantle on this one. But I think maybe what I've done is that I've become like the crutch. Not because I'm smarter or more knowledgeable than anybody else in the class, but because they're like, I know if I don't say anything, this nerd's gonna speak up, and then I can just sit here and like have a little micro break in the middle of the class. I made it too easy. So I don't know where I stand on that. I will admit, this is not a story I like admitting, even though it happened when I was much younger, because it reflects very badly on myself. It makes myself sound smug and juvenile, which is, you know, my favorite rap duo and also two halves of my personality, but still. I came home from school in the 5th grade once, and my mom was like, hey, Ryan, we just got a call from your teacher. And I was like, oh, that's weird. I'm like a great kid, so I don't see what that's about. I said that in my head, not out loud. That's not the smug part, is internal, at least at this point. And she said, well, your teacher said, you know, you have to stop raising your hand for every single question, and then when you don't get picked, making a loud and audible sigh, or going like, oh, come on. And I was like, they could hear that. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, you're young. It's like I was 9 years old. I was little Tay's age. So I'm not going to hold myself too accountable, but it's a crappy thing to do for sure. My teacher was in the right to send that message. The class is not just for me. It's for a lot of people. You know, at least 1/3 of that class was happy to be there. It was the 5th grade. Ooh. Okay, well, that's one way to leave the room. I swear to you, I bring up that story to explain, and this might seem counter to my point, but to explain that this is not that situation. Instead, the situation is that I really feel like the teacher's holding the class hostage. Not for real. Ace of clubs. But, you know, they're basically saying, we're not going to proceed until somebody answers my question. I'm not just going to answer it for you after waiting for, you know, 2 minutes. So, somebody nut up and do it. And I'm like, I guess I'm going to nut up. I don't know if I'm making many friends in the class. I don't know. These are the kind of minor things going on in my noggin right now. I'll reroll. We have, like, no new items. Give me a reroll. Is this Epic Fetus? It is Epic Fetus. Now I have an obligation to keep... Oh, it's been shuffled around here. I have an obligation to keep the D Infinity because Epic Fetus is anti-fun is what I used to say. That's not really the truth anymore. Dr. Fetus is fine. Nothing wrong with it. But it does cannibalize a lot of synergies in the name of, you know, ease of use, so... I don't know, man. That's where I'm at here. We've also, like, there's only 2 people in the class that talk. There's me, who reluctantly answers questions whenever I have to in, like, a cool guy dismissive voice. NPM install. Like, I don't care. I'm not here to learn. Thank you so much. Ooh. Not the transformation I'm looking for, but... Ooh. What is happening with this one now? Alright, this seems fine. I actually think Mysterious Liquid synergizes real nice with Monstro's Lung in most circumstances. Kind of bombs we got. And then there's another guy who puts up his hand to essentially, like, clandestinely brag about what he does in his off time, and nobody really cares, and it's kind of sad, I guess. But also we're like, please stop wasting everybody's time. Well, I programmed my own PayPal server in Vim and Emacs last night, and everyone's like, oh, cool. Well, I mean, what I asked was like, how are you today? And it was really just a hypothetical question here, because, you know, we're here for a Saturday morning sort of class, but alright, cool. I made my own bat file last night that turns on my prostate massager. Alright. Well, dude, honestly, more power to you. That's more of a thing for Facebook, though, than it is for in-person sharing, so I can click that does not want to see this user's posts anymore sort of deal. God bless, though. Okay, slowing down a little bit. We got our deal with the devil that we've been itching for a while. No need to use this. We're just gonna basically roll with what we have for now, and we're gonna wait for... If not a guppy transformation, you know, just the right kind of combination of rerolls to get us to where we want to go here. What are you shooting at? What? Stop shooting, okay? It's just making you look aggressive on this room where there's no need for it. So I'm basically, and I know that we shouldn't be giving this up, but, you know, I am as God made me, sir. We're gonna ignore the plausible scenario where we can actually get the boss rush here. And instead focus on trying to get some kind of, like, actual payout here. That's an X-Lax pill, to the best of my memory. It's a lot of money, but I don't really want money unless it also, I guess if it could come with an HP upgrade that also refills all of our hearts on this guy, it should be worth something. And from you, I just want, like, some kind of DPS. The devil. Dude, these are, like, 2 of the most greedy, uncharitable judgments I've ever seen in my life. They are just refusing to pay out under any circumstances. Let's go. I knew if I had twisted the arm a little bit, we'd be good to go. Now, you got something for me, too. I can tell. I can tell. I told you. This was highly not worth it. Oh, never mind. We got a luck upgrade. All's forgiven. So you should not do what I'm doing here. But I'm going to do it anyway. Relax. You genius. There's Spun. Was it worth it? Well, it could be worth it as long as we get to a reroll. And we'll probably get to a full run reroll. You know, this run is not bad. Look at the stats. It's not like it's in too dangerous of a position. But you probably shouldn't do what I'm doing. But you know, it's nice to be not on like a streak save file so that I can feel okay about doing stuff like that. And it's not always going to work out, and oftentimes it will be the wrong decision. But when it's the right decision, it's a lot of fun. D8 is almost a reroll. It's a reroll of our stats. Speed way down. Damage and rate of fire decently up. I'm always wary about the D8 in this game. Or sorry, in this context with the D Infinity, because you can get like completely marooned. You know, like in a Swiss Family Robinson sort of way. I don't read that much, but it's a touchstone, okay? What I mean is that you could get a D8 that's awesome, and then immediately after get a D8 that's garbage, and then never get the D8 again. So you could just be stuck with bad stats for basically the entirety of the game. And obviously, like, D Infinity means D4 exists, D100, etc., etc. So you got a real good chance to pull yourself out of that miasma, but still, you get the idea. I don't want to be marooned. You know what's weird? Being a kid, there's some cool parts about it. No responsibility, etc., etc. But I was always worried, as a kid, that I was going to be, like, abandoned in a store. Now, abandoned is not the right word, because they didn't really have abandonment issues. It was more like I was worried about being lost. Like J.J. Abrams style. So, like, my parents would be like, oh, we're going to go look at furniture. Why don't you look at the electronics for a minute? And then, like, you know, it's hours later, and I'm like, where are they? Is that a rational fear in the modern day? Because, like, back in, you know, 1990, let's say 1993, I'm 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old. Probably not being left alone in too many department stores now that I think about it at that age. But what's a 5-year-old to do back then? I guess even then it wasn't that rational, right? Like, you would just go talk to somebody at the store and be like, can't find my parents. They would probably try to page them. They didn't get a page. They would, I don't know, call the police or something like that. Or they'd be like, hey, where do you live? And then, I don't know why I said it in such a weird, menacing voice, but, you know, you'd figure it out. But now, if I was like 5 years old and I got lost in a department store, you know what I'm gonna do? I'll just tweet my mom. Yo, what the heck? I'm lost in the department store. Where'd you go? At me back. It's like a joke a 70-year-old stand-up comedian would make. You guys been following this Instagram news? The social media is really convenient because you can ignore all your friends in real time. So I'm going to use the D6 so I can try to get to another reroll. Ah, there's a tinted rock. Of all materials, there was a tinted rock. So we've been like 50-50 marooned here. By which I mean, we got this full run reroll. Wasn't bad. Put us in a situation where we've been here for a little while. But we want something more, you know. The D Infinity is a great item, of course. It's a wonderful extravaganza of experience and human emotions and ups and downs and conflicts, climaxes, and denouements. Just try it, buddy. But I would love to reroll my run yet another time. Go back to the well again, you know, the Hangover 3. Pheromones. One of these days, It'll happen. Law of large numbers. Again, I'm never sure if the law of large numbers applies to numbers that are large in an Isaac context. Like, for example, how many charges of this are we going to get? I don't know, like, under 30 probably. I always thought, you know, you guys, do you follow Forbes 30 under 30? It's like a little thing, I think it applies to all industries. I have no idea what Forbes does, but once a year they, thank you. And now another one immediately after. Once a year they release something called the 30 under 30, at least for video games. I think they do it for all industries. So it's like these 30 young people are doing they're just a bang-up job of being good at their existences this early. And I always look at it and it's like, Forbes asks, what's 30 under 30? And I say 0. Have you never taken a math class in your entire life? That's why you should have to put your IQ on your resume when you... Okay, so this is a recent Twitter meme, you might not be aware. I hear you. I hear you secret rooming there. This run, by the way, is horrible now. I'm not too worried about the deal with the devil. I'm more concerned that I don't really know how to proceed with this. Okay, thank God we got another, yeah, that's terrible. We got another D4 reroll here. I think I'm running out of time to make Forbes 30 under 30. I guess I might already be out of time, I'm not sure. But I'm not overly concerned about it, you know? I used to be... And by used to be, I mean, I'm manufacturing it for the sake of this bit. But, I don't know, I've become more agnostic to my place in the video game industry. I've done this bit a lot on the show, but I follow so many gaming YouTubers on various platforms of social media, by which I mean exclusively Twitter, because that's the only one that I use, basically. And the number, I don't know if it's like the older I've gotten or like the more I've learned about at least software development to like a certain degree. You know, not to suggest I'm any kind of expert, which is obviously, it would be ridiculous, but not until Tomo Quest comes out anyway. But like, I see people get mad about things in this industry that just drive me insane. Like the most recent one is the And many people, by the way, are probably going to disagree with me when I say this, and that's fine. As long as the disagreement is couched in some kind of rationality, I don't mind it. But I see a lot of hyperbole, like the Call of Duty 4, or sorry, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 announcement, where they're like, we're not going to have a single-player campaign, and we're adding a Battle Royale mode. I saw like a lot of cynicism about that, and I think there is a place for that cynicism if you like the Call of Duty campaigns, which is fine. But seeing people tweet things like, what a money grab from Blizzard Activision, and this is outrageous that consumers are being forced to purchase this game against their will, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, just, like, they're trying something new, for one. And if you don't like it, don't buy it. You don't, it's a corporation, and they're making a software product. This take is pretty bad so far. I'm trying to salvage it. I guess what I get at is the idea that I worry sometimes that the consumer part of the industry. What do we got here? It's still kind of trash. You know, if I was a developer, I guess the developers don't really control the direction of the development. What the heck was that, dude? In all situations, at least. I'd be like, well, screw us for trying something new, right? For the last 12 months, all I've heard is, oh, that Fortnite is not realistic enough, and PUBG, I'd really love to see a Battle Royale from a developer that knows what they're doing, and they're like, hey, we're taking one of the biggest shooter franchises. It feels weird to say it's not the biggest anymore, but it's possibly true. Taking one of the biggest shooter franchises, and we're putting in a Battle Royale mode like everybody asked for, and it's like, you know, people are mad about it. I guess they're more mad about the single player being taken away. Yeah, my take didn't really deliver where I wanted it to deliver here, but I don't know, I get tired of like the news cycle in this industry over and over and over and over. You know, This is not to suggest that I'm exclusively pro-developer, much to your surprise, but, you know, it's always the same thing. We're mad at this developer today. This developer did something amazing, you know? EA did something silly. Why can't they be more like CD Projekt Red? I don't really, I consider myself more in the, I'm like a professional chatter. That's my job now. Or at least that's what I'd like my job to be. I'm going down some well-worn territory for myself here, but like, I get cynical about the industry sometimes, because there's a lot of like emphasis placed on consumer rights in the games industry, which I think he's a genius. Did you see that? I know I didn't get anything out of it, but I called that room. Excuse me, sir. Thank you so much. And you know, there's something to be said about that. Are there exploitative practices in gaming? Absolutely. I think particularly in free-to-play or with anything with microtransactions involved with it, there's a potential for, you know, exploiting some human psychology in order to profit. What I would consider perhaps unethically, but you know, that's a discussion for a lot of people to have and figure out where they stand, because I know there's a lot of people that are also like, well, if you don't like it, then just don't put your money in it. And I'm like, well, yeah, but you know, we have regulation for a reason for most things, you know. So we're drinking pasteurized milk instead of just, you know, the cheapest person to get raw milk onto the market. But anyway, but so much of it, I'm like, you would do yourself a great service if you stopped framing it as consumer rights and just started framing it as like, well, you're making a product, and as a result of your decisions, I no longer have interest in it, so I'm not gonna buy it. Like, you don't own Call of Duty. I'm not even defending Activision, because you know, I haven't played. I guess I've played like pretty much every Call of Duty that's come out in like the past 5 years, but played them for like, you know, less than 2 hours each. I was very negative in my experience with World War II as well. Not the war itself, but like the game. Not that I thought it was bad, but I was just like, man, I feel like playing this game is making me like angry. It's making me like a worse person to be around. So I just stopped. I don't know. There's so many like outrage gaming channels on YouTube, and I worry like, you know, when that becomes your business model to be like, once a week I get mad at a company. There are times when there's plenty to be mad about, I suppose, but I do worry that it's kind of contributing to this culture of like, we're always mad, and if we're not mad about something, we're not looking hard enough, you know? I don't know, I didn't really go where I wanted to go with that. I've become jaded with the concept of the gaming industry. Games are cool, dude. You played Wizard of Legend? That game's amazing. I'm having a fantastic time. The gaming industry? 60-40. See? Not overly negative, it's just 60-40. I guess I get annoyed because it's like, people like judge a game completely before it's out. Like the Call of Duty announcement peeved me because people were like, you know, no single player campaign, I don't like it. And I'm like, it's not Kale. Give it a chance. See how other people feel about it and decide if you're going to try it out for yourself, and then be like, I didn't like it. But when at the announcement, that was a botch. When at the announcement you're like, this is a horrible decision and blah blah blah, you're entitled to express your opinion. Sometimes I feel like I'm forever caught in this this cycle of like, if you ever criticize people that are giving criticism, aren't you the real critic? And as always, I want to couch this all in the philosophy that you're entitled to express, you know, essentially whatever you feel, and a criticism or disagreement with your opinion is not censorship or like asking you to not express it. It's just me expressing my opinion of your opinion. So aren't you the real? But you know, I digress. But you know, personally, I'm like, you gotta let it disappoint you. That's the adult lesson in media, is like, hey, who knows, it could work out. New Thor movie went in a totally different direction. Could have bombed, although I think everybody was basically ready for something new in that franchise. It crushed, you know? Everyone had a great time, more or less. I just want to see some red hearts if possible. That one not do it, I think. Okay, I'm out. And sometimes it'll bomb, you know? Pacific Rim got rid of its main caster. None of them signed on. They made the movie bright as heck, and people seem a lot less interested in that, but I'm a hypocrite as well. I judge media before it comes out to some extent, but I mean, that's basically the final message always, is that I'm also a hypocrite. Okay, Tech X is beautiful and we can win on that, but I'd much rather get a full run reroll. I don't know, it just gets exhausting being mad at developers all the time and also simultaneously being like, not developers, that's a little bit of a gaslight. Publishers. People get mad at publishers more. You know, I'm like, I just want to play games and, like, talk about them. Or not even talk about it, just play games. You know, we're in this, or I'm in this strange space in the industry. Oh my god, that's Ipecac, isn't it? Where, like, the game is kind of like window dressing in a lot of the circumstances. And I'm extremely lucky for that to be the case. So I'm gonna ride that, I think. And as long as people like watching it, that's fine. I don't know, I get so annoyed with, like, YouTube news. The same way I get annoyed with the news, you know, largely from a television context. Like, this is not, you know, like a 2018 fake news, DAE, Jeff Bezos on paper owns the Washington Post, isn't that a conflict of interest because he doesn't like the same people I like, etc., etc., is more like, at its basic level, you know, controversy gets attention, which equals money, and I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'm cynical about it on the YouTube side because it seems manufactured a lot of the time. But maybe I've just been watching too many Little Tay videos. And I'm hating, and I'm getting flexed on by a 9-year-old Vancouverite pretending to be from Beverly Hills. And that's my segue off of this, because I think I'm getting a little preachy. All I'm trying to say is take 9 a.m. classes and never get mad about anything a corporate entity does, because if you don't like it, just don't buy it. That's all I'm saying. Actually, I'm saying, like, oh, let the cops do what they want, because they're the cops, and they're always right. See, that's a callback to an earlier episode. So let's chill till the next episode. Tell you what, thinking I'll try something like this on for size. Our reroll was surprisingly fantastic. I am out, by the way, even if they gave me Void. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.